Hello and welcome. In this video we're going to take a look at the Titan class. So we'll be looking at the Vanity shields available from the Dilithium store during certain events of the year, and the only one currently available in the Zen store. A couple of notes just before we jump into the video. This is one of the ships that has an animated facade collector effect, so the orange there at the front of the nacelles will not change with the shields. And with this being a size destroyer, there is actually a touch of an animation effect. So we'll have a look at that in a second. And as always, in the description with the chapters for each of the shields and several other links that I'll cover off at the end of the video. So let's jump into game and have a look at this animation effect. So whilst the ship is in science mode, we've got this nice blue dome here at the top. To go into tactical mode, changes to orange with that nice little sound effect to it. If that had went red with a red alert klaxon, that would have been really nice. And that's the animation effect for this ship. So first up we have the Alliance Vanity shield as normal. So this is the only shield currently available in the Zen store. It's part of the Mutara Alliance bundle, which includes the Mutara Alliance uniform and an upgrade. So for the shield itself, we've got this white patterned hull material, some grey shading, some gold shading and some red piping. Top here we've got this cyan colour. Then we've also got the cyan effect for the deflector behind this. I suppose the best way of putting it is a bit of glass. As mentioned at the intro there, the warp cells here with the facade collectors, you can see, have an animation effect, so they will not change with the shields. Look round, we've got the cyan there for the warp cells. Got the red, orange, yellow, white and back again effect there for the impulse engines. And we can see here with that triangular pattern, and as the light hits it we get the different hues. Same here on the nacelles as well. So this is a common thing on the actual Alliance ships, so the Rex, the Garrett, the Kittimer and so forth. So as I've said quite a few times, this is a really nice detail that the team put into this Vanity shield. And again, you can see all that triangular pattern here in the grey at the back. And with the darker grey there for the shuttle bay door. Then the underside, got quite a bit of that gold shading there at the front of the nacelles, just below the facade collectors. Quite a bit of that grey there coming down the centre of the saucer, and just more of that patterned white hull material. Then for the engine trails on this one, standard Starfleet ones there, so it's got the red and the blue there. Moving on to the Dilithium store now. So this is a Safe Galaxy Refit Vanity shield. So we've got this two-tone grey patterned hull material. You can see the lighter grey there on the phaser strips and at the front here. With this golden colour at the top there. Golden colour for the deflector. And even with the sort of forced lighting just round it, it's a very faint yellow there for the nacelle colour. And then with the golden impulse engines there. See some more of that lighter grey, and the grey there for the shuttle bay. Then with the same here on the underside. And for the engine trails in this one, they do marry up lovely with the shields. So we've got the yellow and the slightly lighter yellow there. Now we come to a very popular shield in the game. This is the Vanity shield. This black hull material that's making all these red lines stand out really nicely against it. Got the cyan colour up there, almost matching the colour of the dome at the back of it there. Got the cyan pattern effect there for the deflector array. Cyan there for the nacelles. And then, as I've said numerous times, my favourite impulse engine effect of any of the shields, this lovely red. I don't know what it is about this red compared to the rest of the shields that have red impulse engines. I don't know if it's a contrast with the black or what it is, but it just stands out lovely for me. Then we've got a nice bit of cyan lighting there, leading up to the shuttle bay. Then if I hold here, you can see this etched pattern design within the hull material. Then we've got the same there on the underside. Then for the engine trails on this one, the standard red and blue there of Federation ones. That blue just been a couple of shades lighter to match in with the nacelles. I think that would have been perfect. Next up, it's the Borg Vanity Shield. As I've said in numerous videos, it should be named the Liberated Borg Vanity Shield. So this is designed to give your vessel the look of a liberated Borg vessel. So we have this grey patterned hull material, and the pattern is made up of various shapes and sizes of hull plates. This nice dull blue up the top here. And then at the front here, we've got this blue illumination. And you can make out this conduit material underneath that. That's designed to give the appearance of exposed sections of hull. And with the same going in here as well, some gold and orange lighting and a touch of even reddish pink there as well. You've got one of the best patterned deflector arrays hidden behind this piece of glass. These nacelles are a bit lighter than what they normally are with this shield. It's normally the same shade of blue as those impulse engines are. See some more of that conduit material there just at the side of the shuttle bay doors. And you see all those different shapes and sizes of hull plates there. Then we're the same here on the underside. Surprised enough, very little of the conduit material on the underside. I was expecting a bit more, to be honest. Normally this shield doesn't have any engine trails, but I've seen it on a few ships now that the ship model actually overrides that. So let's see if this is the same. And nope, no engine trails from this one. Next up, we are looking at the Courier Raider Vanity Shield. So this is one of the older shields in the game, not to be confused with the new Breen Courier Raider Shield from the recent Partners in Crime lockbox. So the hull material in this one is almost a bare metal kind of effect, with this black shading along the phaser strips here. Got this blinding white light at the top here. This white patterned deflector. You also make out this white underneath this pulsating dome for the Bassard collectors there. Now we have the white nacelles, the white impulse engines, and now would be a good time to put the sunglasses on or dim down your monitor a bit. With the black there for the shuttleway door, and same here on the pylons for the nacelle. As you can see, it is getting very bright as the light's hitting off it. Certainly a shield more for darker maps, I think. A touch more of the black shading on the bottom phaser strip there, and on the saucer there as well, and same again there on the pylons. For the engine trails in this one, unfortunately it's the standard Federation ones, the red and the blue. Why they couldn't just make it white when they went to the effect of having this white flame effect coming from the impulse engines is quite unusual, and just bear this in mind. You'll see why in a minute or two. Here we have the Discovery Vanity Shield. So this is one of the shields in the game that has a different visual appearance depending on your faction alignment. So for Federation aligned, you get the appearance of Starfleet vessels in Season 1 of Discovery. We have this two-tone grey patterned hull material. We've got this blue illumination here, which is unfortunately off-centre. Definitely is a bit lopsided there. The deflector array is white and it's got blue spokes all the way around it. You can just make out the pattern effect there and a touch of blue for the Bassard collectors underneath this pulsating orange dome. Then we have the blue there for the nacelles and the red honeycomb for the impulse engines. As I look down, you can see that pattern effect within the lighter grey sections of the hull material. And we're just more of the same there on the underside. And for the engine trails in this one, they're white. So why is it red impulse engines, blue nacelles, white engine trails? Yet on the Courier Raider shield we just looked at, with white impulse engines, white nacelles, and then you get the red and blue engine trails. Something got mixed up there, I think, and it would be nice if it got fixed. So here we have the Discovery Vanity Shield on a Klingon Alliance character. So you see this brown patterned hull material. It's supposed to represent what they try to pass off as Klingon ships in Discovery. We have this yellow and white illumination here at the top. Then we have this orange, yellow and white pattern deflector array. Then the cells are a pattern of orange, yellow and white eclipses. It's just obscured a bit with this cover over the nacelle. Then for the impulse engines, again, touch of yellow there, then this white with this pattern over the top of it. And we can see that nacelle effect a bit better here. Bit of an unusual pattern there on the pylons. I wonder if that's intentional or if it's just obscured with the pattern being placed in that shape. Then the underside, yeah, it's just more of that patterned brown hull material. And then for the engine trails in this one, they are white, which does marry up with the engine effect that the shield's applying to the ship. Here we have the Discovery Refit Vanity Shield. So we've got a two-tone grey hull material, just slightly darker than the other Discovery one. This blue illumination up here, and it's more centred on this shield. You can also make out some of the pattern details there from the shield as well. And with this white and blue pattern deflector. White there for the Bizarre collectors. Got the blue and white there for the nacelles. And red and a touch of white there for the impulse engines. Certain parts of the hull look like they've got little scars on them with this shield. Then we're more of the same on the underside. You can see some more of that detail from the shield there. Then for the engine trails in this one, they marry up nicely to the shields. So we've got this reddish colour from the impulse engines and this very light blue from the nacelles. Next up is the Emerald Chain, insert long name here, Vanity Shield. So I've got this two-tone brown hull material. Yes, pattern effect within the material here at the front. We have this off-white lighting up here at the top. Same lighting effect there for the deflector array, and also the Bizarre collectors is a bit harder to make out just with that orange dome pulsating there. Then we've got this blue and white cell colouring, which isn't the same one for this shield. I don't know what's going on there. Then we have that off-white there for the impulse engines. A sneaky suspicion, actually looking at it from this angle, is the right cell colouring, it does mimic that of the impulse engines. It just it seems to be a bit of a blue tint below it that's coming through. And you can see the full extent of the pattern there within the hull material. And we have the same here on the underside. Then for the engine trails in this one, very similar to that of the Discovery Refit. Very light blue there and red, so unfortunately it's not marrying up with the shield effect of the engines in this particular one. Next up, we are looking at the Emperor's Vanity shield. We've got this grey hull material, a touch of purple shading here at the front. We have this yellow illumination up the top. Nice orange pattern deflector array there. The bizarre collectors in this particular shield are usually the same colour of yellow as that, so they won't stand out much against that orange, unfortunately. And we have the lighter yellow there for the cells, and the cyan there for the impulse engines. And you might be able to faintly make out this blue dot illumination. So this is throughout the full hull material. It does mimic the star field that we see at the back there. And you see more of it there, just with this shaded part of the ship. Let's look at the underside before I tilt the ship up into the light. You can see that blue dot illumination a lot clearer here. And it is almost like a star field effect. You see some more of that purple shading there, the front of the nacelles. And for the engine trails in this one, it matches the engine effects from the shield perfectly. That's very nice to see. Next up, it's the Ferengi Vanity shield. So this is most likely the outcome of leaving your ship with the Ferengi at a starbase. And yes, Quark will probably moan about slurs about his people being spread around Starfleet Academy. So onto the shield. So we have the orange hull material that we're used to seeing on the Ferengi vessels in the TV shows. It's got some gold shading there as well, and some touches of grey. Then we have that yellow illumination there at the top. I'll zoom right in here. You can see this rivet detail. Then we have the yellow deflector. The bizarre collectors are yellow in this one as well, so it won't stand out too much against the orange there. I have yellow there for the nacelle colouring, and yep, also for the impulse engines. Got the grey there on the hangar. And we can see some more of that grey there at the rear, and some of that rivet detail is also present on the nacelles. The same here on the underside. Then for the engine trails, they match the shield effects there with the yellow. Again, very nice to see. So here we have the Hur'q Vanity Shield. So we've got this green hull material, and this purplish brown shading as well. Got this illuminated green material. And we can also see some of this shading giving a bit of a textured look to the hull material as well. Then we've got a green illumination here at the top. We have this green patterned deflector array. Again, more of that illuminated green material just outlining that section. The Bassard collectors on this one are the same shade of green. The nacelles are the same shade of green, and so are the impulse engines. And here you can see that shading giving that textured effect there. More of that illuminated green material there as well. Again, more of that textured look on top of the nacelles and at the back of the pylons here. Quite a bit more of that textured look on the underside of the saucer, and more of that illuminated green material there at the front of the nacelles. Then for the engine trails in this one, they're yellow. So if they'd just been a bit greener, that would have suited it better. I suppose it still works with the shield, but it's not really marrying up with the engine effects, unfortunately. Next up, it's the Kelvin Divergence Vanity Shield. So, like the Discovery one, it does have a different visual appearance depending on your faction alignment. So, for Federation aligned, you get the appearance of the Starfleet vessels in the reboot films. So, we have the grey patterned hull material. Then we've got this very dark blue and white illumination here at the top. Got this blue patterned deflector array, very reminiscent of that of the Enterprise in the reboot films. Thankfully, we can't make out too clearly the absolutely awful Bassard collector effect from this shield. It's based off of the Bassard collector in the Kelvin in the first film, and it only works on a few ships in the game. I do wish I'd just change it to be the blue that we've seen on the Enterprise. It would work a lot better on a lot more ships. Then we have the blue there for the nacelle colouring. We've got this orange pattern effect there for the impulse engines. And it's just more of that grey hull material. And for the engine trails in this one, we're back to the normal Federation ones of the red and the blue. Again, if that had just been slightly lighter and more orange, and again, if that had just been slightly lighter blue, it would have been a lot better. Here we have the Kelvin Divergence Vanity Shield on a KDF aligned character. You see the different shades of green here for the hull material, with some grey shading there as well. We have this dull blue lighting up here at the top. Then we have this lovely patterned red deflector array. The Bizarre collectors in this shield are yellow, so they don't stand out too much against that orange. Then for the nacelles, it's a dull blue with a grey hexagon pattern to it. And we have that honeycomb patterned red impulse engines there. Now got some grey there on the shuttleway door and there on the pylons. And then we have this yellow illumination almost as a landing strip there. So we can see that pattern effect there for the nacelle. And we're same here on the underside. More of the different shades of green and a couple of touches of grey there. And for the engine trails, they do marry up with the shield because we've got the red there from the impulse engines and then the blue there from the cell. If that blue had been slightly lighter, it would have matched better, but it's not too bad as it is. Next up we have the Prodigy Vanity Shield. So we've got this lovely grey hull material, and it's also got a bit of a pattern effect there, as we can see at the front and along there as well. Then we have this nice pale blue illumination there at the top. The deflector array is a mixture of orange, yellows and whites. It's a bit obscured just with this glass in front of it. You can't quite make out the blue of the Bizarre collectors there. The blue there on the nacelles and the red there for the impulse engines. This is probably one of my favourite shields in the game at the moment, just because of that lovely grey hull material. Can't stand the show, but I do like the shield. Just more of that grey hull material and some more of that patterned material there as well at the front of the nacelles. Then for the engine trails, got the red and the light blue there, so it matches up nicely to the effect that the shield's applying to the engines there. This is another popular shield in the game, the Section 31 Vanity Shield. You can see the different shades there for the hull material. The red lines again standing out quite nicely against the darker material there. We also have this striped material, and that bright cyan light there at the top. And the pattern cyan deflector array there. Now the Bizarre collectors in this shield are blacked out, so you're not even seeing the domes underneath the orange there, so that's a nice touch. That bright cyan there for the nacelles, and the red honeycomb there for the impulse engines. For me personally, it had just been the darker grey hull material rather than having the different shades there. I think it would have been a better effect for a stealth look, and certainly not having very bright nacelles and impulse engines would certainly help it blend in a bit better as well, but it's Section 31. So I better be careful what I'm saying in case they come and find me. And then for the engine trails in this one, they do marry up quite nicely with the shield effect on the engines there. Here we have the Shrike Vanity shield. So I've got this rusty orange hull material with this burgundy shading and some touches of grey. Then we have the orange there at the top. A target for your deflector array there with the red and very pale orange. The nacelles are orange as well. Just got a bit of a glow from the underside that's masking it slightly there. Then we have that red and pale orange impulse engine effect. More of the grey there, the pylons and the shuttle bait. And then you can make out the orange there. So it's just the cover that's over the nacelle that's obscuring it slightly. And more of the same there on the underside. That rusty orange, the burgundy, and the grey there as well. Then for the engine trails in this one, not really matching up. We've got yellow there, that had been more orange, and again the red, that had been more orange. It would have probably married up better. Here is the Tzenkethi Vanity shield. So, as I always say, it's a very busy shield with what's going on with it. So we have got green there, it's the hull material. Got the grey shading, black shading, and then this panel illumination material as well. See the white there at the top. And we'll zoom in a bit here. See a bit of this lighting pulsating. The same here as well. And we have this lovely orange pattern deflector there. More of that pulsating light from that panel lighting material. The white patterned facade collectors there. We have white for the nacelles, white for the impulse engines. We've got quite a nice pattern there for the shuttle bay door with the green and the grey. And you can see the carved pattern there on the hull material as well. Again, more of that pulsating light effect there going round the rim of the saucer. More of the green and grey and black there as well for the hull material. Now let's see the engine effects in this. Because the last time I had all white engines was the Courier Raider, and it didn't have white engine trails, so what does this one have? And they are white. They match. Very pleased with that. And the last shield currently available in the Dilithium store is the Zhat Vash Vanity Shield. So we have this olive green and sandy brown hull material. It almost looks like an army camouflage just with its pattern. Some touches of grey there as well on the phaser strips. I have this green and white light here at the top. With this lovely green patterned deflector array there. The bizarre collectors in this one are green and a white pattern effect. Now we've got the green nacelles there and the red impulse engines. And we have grey there on the shuttle bay door and grey there on the pylons. And it's more of the same shading and pattern there on the underside. Then for the engine trails in this one, unfortunately we're just back to the standard Federation one. Yeah, if that had just been a touch redder, if they just made that green, it would have been a lot better. And that concludes our look at the Titan. So, as always, thank you all very much for watching. Do like and subscribe if you haven't already. All helps the channel. And speaking of channel help, again, another big shout out to Casual Sab, promoting the channel in his recent news video, and he's also given me quite a bit of advice recently as well surrounding my thumbnails. Some very invaluable feedback that I hope you will see a lot of improvements coming over the next few videos. Onto the links in the description that I mentioned at the beginning. So I have my Twitch channel listed in there now. My Real Merch affiliate code will get you 5% off your first order. And the usual social media links are there, plus the STO Wiki, plus the main Star Trek Online news blog. Then other content creators are listed there as well. So we've got Casual Sab, Nick NB, MC Stu. Then we also have the Mutara Alliance, their Twitch channel there, and Thornburg Media, his Twitch channel's there as well. If you haven't checked any of them out, please do so. Drop them a like, a follow, or a sub, as it always helps out. But that is it from me. So thank you all again for watching. I'll catch you in the next live stream in the next video.